Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'm Rob Sloat. I am the lead pastor here. My wife, Shelley, and I are going to be taking you on a tour. Shelley prefers to be behind scenes. I couldn't talk her into coming up here and helping me tonight, but that's okay because we are going to have a great trip into Israel next year. How many people here have ever been to Israel? Yeah, okay, a few. Did you recognize some of the things that you saw, some of the places you saw in that video? Okay, good. How many are hoping to go with us next year? Is a show of hands, a few people? Okay, good. One of the things, raise his hand. You're coming with us. Tourism Israel says, come and see. And really, that's a big part of what we're going to be. We're going to be walking where Jesus walked, which is absolutely incredible. Thank you, Larry. And we're live streaming this as well. I forgot. One of the things we're testing out to make sure if somebody couldn't make it tonight, some of you have some friends who don't live in the area. We've actually sent friends that live in the UK, other churches that we've pastored. We've invited people to join us. And so we're live streaming this, so welcome. I know Pastor Evelyn's watching. There may be some others. Shelley's going to keep track of that. If you're online and you have some questions, just hold those questions. Shelley's going to get them later on, and we'll make sure that we get to some of your questions. But let me just say this. Tonight, our plan is to walk through the itinerary. So if you don't have a copy of the brochure, you can pick that up in the foyer on the table. Hopefully there's a few of them left out there. We're going to walk through the itinerary to give you an idea of where we're going to be going, where we're going to be visiting, and hopefully to get you excited and me not too excited. Because if I get too excited, we're going to be here all night, because I can talk about the places we've been in Israel. It's absolutely incredible. I hope to answer some of the questions that you might have about this tour through the evening. So hold on to your questions. We're going to take those near the end. But if you have a question that I cannot answer, we will be getting the answer for you. So just kind of hold on to those things. Ari Bauer from International Heritage Tours was supposed to be with us tonight, but he got called into an emergency surgery for bladder cancer. And so I would like to begin tonight praying for my Israelite friend Ari. Can we do that? Heavenly Father, I thank you for my friend Ari, and he's been such an important part of me getting into the promised land and seeing so much about Jesus and where he walked and understanding the importance and the culture and applying, seeing your word coming alive in my life and applying it to my life. I thank you for him. And now as he's facing this surgery, I pray not only for Ari, but for his family, as what he has termed an invasive procedure that's been going on today. I thank you that you are Yahweh, that you are his God. And I just ask that you would reveal yourself more and more to him day after day. And not just to Ari, but Father, to all of your people, your chosen people, and to us. To each of us, reveal yourself. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. So here's what we're going to do. If you have your itinerary, I'd like to walk us through it. Hopefully I'll answer a number of questions. I'm going to have some videos. I'm going to have some images. I'm going to have some reading that I'm going to do. And let's just see where we go from there. So let me start with this. On day one, it's actually our flight day. And so this is Saturday, March the 11th. We'll have a non-stop flight that will go from Toronto. We'll go to Terminal 1 at 4:50 p.m., non-stop flight. To get on that flight, you need to be double vaccinated. That is a Canadian rule, not an Israeli rule. The Israeli rules, they have lifted all of their restrictions now. Everything's going well over there. But the Canadian government still has that on. People are going to say, do we need your booster? No. But you do need to be double vaccinated. More information, ideas about what should I pack, what should I wear, what will the weather be like, all of those things, I say, are on this website. Hopefully you can see that's gov.il. If you just even Google the Ministry of Tourism Israel, not only do they have a lot of information, a lot of the videos that came tonight, Fiona from the ministry sent me a number of the videos that we could use here, so they're all used with permission. But they have a lot of good videos that will teach you about some of the different places we're going. This is more of a government site, so you're not going to see a lot of the religious things that we're going to be talking about, but they have a lot of really good information on their website, the do's, the don'ts, and all of that. it's going to be your responsibility to get to the airport. Now, I have heard that there's possibly a group of people that are talking about finding out the price of a bus, and if we do get that, we'll get that information out so that others would know that there would probably be a bus at some point, maybe leaving from here and going to the airport. But at this point, we don't have that figured out. So we're saying it will be your responsibility to make sure you get to the airport. We will talk to the board here about the possibility of people leaving a vehicle who are carpooling, for example, but we'll work through some of that as we get closer to going. But it will be your responsibility to go. When it comes to your passport to get on the plane for day one, you need to make sure that you have a current passport. And not only is it current, but your passport needs to be valid 6 months after our return date. So October of 2023. So if your current passport is not valid till that date, you need to get onto your application and get going for that right now. It is a great flight. We'll be flying with Air Canada. It's a wonderful flight. I have sciatica. I get up and I walk around when I need to walk around. There's enough room to do that. The stewardess are most grateful with me because I can't sit for the whole flight. I get up and walk around. They give me the place to stretch. It's a really good flight, and they take really good care of us. I've done this flight a couple of times now, and I know I can't make it. But they've been excellent. So if you're like me and you need to get up and walk around, or you get stir crazy, know that you're going to have the ability to do that on our flight. Once we arrive, we'll go through customs and we're going to meet our tour guide. Now, we've requested Raquel Dotan. Now, she'll probably say, call me Rachel, because most people can't say Raquel. But Rachel will be our tour guide, most likely, again, because we have requested her. She did a fantastic job for us when we went with Lighthouse Community Church back in 2019. We will meet Raquel. We'll get on the bus, and we're going to go to a place. If you're looking at, I believe we're at day 2 now, because day 1 is our flight. Day 2, we arrive. We're going to make our way to a place called Tel Gezer. It's not normally on a lot of the itineraries for people. It's a place that I became familiar with. A friend of mine that I went on my first tour with has been to this site. It will be new to me. But what I like about this site is it's a great place to stop as a quick inn. It's an archaeological site that has 10 monolithic steles. Anybody here ever watched Ray Vanderland That the World May Know? Video series from Focus on the Family. He talks about Tel Gezer, some great teaching. So if you want to look that up online, you can look that up as well. It's from the Bronze Age, and there's a magnificent water cistern. So it's a great get off the bus, have a little bit of a walk. We'll get back on. We're going to go into Jerusalem. We are trying to make arrangements that we would be able to stop at Mount Scopus and take communion as we're going into Jerusalem. Hopefully that will work out for us, but I think that would be a really nice way to enter into Jerusalem, and I'm working with the tour guide to try and make sure that that can happen for us. Then we'll make our way into the holy city of Jerusalem. We will check into what's called the Prima Kings Hotel. Now, Shelley and I stayed here on our last trip. This is a fabulous hotel, very modern, very clean. The food is incredible. Can I have the next image? This is actually the Lighthouse Church. Oh, did I not have that there? I'm sorry. There we go. So that gives you an idea of the table. We will try to arrange for our entire group to sit at one table. Oh, I keep forgetting about live stream. We'll have the entire group sitting at one table. We will pray for our meal together, and then it's a buffet. Everybody say buffet. Woo! There is so much food. And my wife is I'm going to rag on her a little bit. She's a picky eater. But there's more than enough choices that she was even happy. So I love the adventure. I love the different foods and the different culture. I can't wait to get back and try all these different things. She's more that, I need to know, what is this meat? What is this meat I'm eating? Chicken. Yes. No pork. No pork. I know it's hard for some of you baconators to have breakfast without pork, but there will be enough things. The meals, the food is absolutely incredible. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. Oh, wonderful rooms and very central. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. Video number 2.
connected and so together.
Wow. So Jerusalem, the old city. On day 3, can I have the Eastern Gate image? Yeah. Do you recognize that? The Eastern Gate, the one that the Jews know that Messiah is going to enter into, and yet the Muslims have blocked it in. Do you know the story that when they blocked it in originally, they blocked it in, and then a storm came and all of the bricks fell out so Messiah could still walk through it? You can't stop Messiah, right? So then they thought, you know what we'll do? We'll put a cemetery here because Jewish people can't walk through where a cemetery is. They'll become unclean. Another storm came and it washed all the bones away and it washed the bricks away, and so Messiah could... So it's bricked up again, but... We know there's going to be another storm because one day Messiah is going to walk through the Eastern Gate. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Let me read the brochure here for day 3. This is a very busy 2 days we have ahead of us. So we'll stop at the top of the Mount of Olives for a panoramic view of Jerusalem, tracing the footsteps of Jesus. We'll stroll down the Palm Sunday route of the Mount of Olives. So we're going to start at the top, okay? Bethany behind us. We're going to come down the Mount of Olives into the Garden of Gethsemane, where there are olive trees that are actually there at the time of Jesus. That's how old these olive trees are that you're going to see. The picture of Shelley and Raquel, actually, that was one of the trees that was there. It was pretty tiny back then. Not when Shelley was there, but when Jesus was there. It's incredible. The Church for All Nations. From here, we will proceed by bus across the Kidron Valley, past the tombs of Absalom, Zechariah, and James, proceed to Mount Zion to visit the traditional site of the upper room, the room of the Last Supper, King David's tomb, so the upper room, and then we'll go to the lower room, which is King David's tomb, the Church of St. Peter's of Gallicanta, built on top of the high priest Caiaphas' house. And there's an incredible, maybe I shouldn't tell them, maybe I should make them go. Okay, I'm going to make you go. We'll walk to the Zion Gate and enter the old city of Jerusalem through this gate, walk through the Armenian quarter to the Jewish quarter, walk along the Roman Byzantine street called the Cardo, the main artery, to the Western Wall, Judaism's holiest spot. Some people call it the Wailing Wall. You saw the picture there. Then, where did I have that? Because I've got an image of that tonight. I want to make sure that I don't miss that. Yeah. Can I have the Kotel, the one with the rectangle? Is it back one? Yeah. So that rectangle that you see is the Western Wall that you know of, the Wailing Wall, where people go and you will write your prayers on a little piece of paper and you'll fold it up and you'll stick it in the wall. It's honestly, I'm getting God bumps just thinking about doing that. That's the Western Wall. We will go to the bottom left corner, which is now called the Kotel Tunnels or the Ritual Bath Tunnels. We will walk underneath along the Western Wall through the Kotel Tunnels, and we will come out at the other end of the Via Dolorosa. Names that you've probably heard of. This is incredible when we go underneath. There's one spot along the way I will tell you about where the Jewish men get that prime spot, right? But the Jewish women get the spot where they believe the Holy of Holies is the closest spot to the Holy of Holies. And when we go that spot, Raquel will ask us to all be quiet. There'll be one Jewish woman praying, and we'll silently walk by her, and she'll explain all of this. She'll tell us the do's and don'ts. But the Coatell Tunnels is an incredible. So we'll visit the Western Wall tunnels. We'll visit the excavations from the time of the Second Temple. We'll view the Dome of the Rock, the El Aqsa Mosque on top of the Temple Mount. We'll continue to walk along the Via Dolorosa to visit the pools of Bethsaida, St. Anne's Church. I hope do you like singing? St. Anne's Church has the most beautiful acoustics. We'll probably sing there and record ourselves. We'll pass through colorful bazaars. You saw some of them on the video. Alleyways to the Jaffa Gate, and we'll meet the bus, and then we'll go back to the Prima Kings Hotel. The underground walk to the Via Dolorosa is a highlight. We have had people who have claustrophobia who were more than adequately fine. And so if you're struggling and say, I have claustrophobia, it's not that tiny. They're bigger areas. If there's ever an area that you're concerned about, talk to us. If you're scared about heights, talk to us. We'll help you to know where some of those areas are so that you can enjoy everything and not miss out on some of these incredible things. So day 4, we are going, this is the Palestinian guide. Yeah, okay, good. Day 4 is another really busy day. There was a lot involved in that day. Listen to this. This morning we're going to visit the Old City, the Davidson Center, and visit the archaeological park of the excavations along the western and southern walls of the Temple Mount of Jerusalem. We will continue to the City of David. Are you familiar with the City of David? Google the City of David. Go onto their website. They have the best videos that I have ever seen on Israel. The City of David is actually the real old city of Jerusalem. It is the city that David built on the hill with the Jebusites. We are going to go through this, and we learned our lesson in the last tour. We went way too early and way too fast. We know where we need to slow down, and the city of Jerusalem, we are planning on really taking our time. There are a number of new excavations that have happened even during COVID. Some of you who've been doing the webinars and watching online, you've probably heard about the Pilgrim's Pathway that now goes from the Pool of Siloam all the way up to the Davidson Center. So there's a number of new things that we're going to be able to see. We'll walk through Hezekiah's tunnel. You will have the option whether you want to get wet or not. There's a part of Hezekiah's tunnel that, depending on the rainfall, could be up to your waist in water, or there's another route that we can take where you'll get no water. And so you'll be given the choice. We will drive to Yad Vashem. Anybody here ever seen Schindler's List? Oskar Schindler, his tree for the righteous Gentiles is placed at Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum. I can't come up with a word to describe Yad Vashem. It is the Holocaust Museum, and it's eye-opening. So again, we'll visit the memorial to the Holocaust commemorating the 6 million Jews who perished. We'll visit and walk through the newly opened museum, the Children's Memorial. Oh, beautiful. Walk along the Avenue of the Righteous Gentiles for those who risk their lives to save Jewish lives. Corrie ten Boom, another tree that we'll see there, a number people that you'll know to look for. Drive to Bethlehem. Bethlehem. Say that with me. Bethlehem. So when we go to Bethlehem, I love saying that, we will take a Palestinian guide. Now, this man, his family actually owns the olive wood carving shop. And so because the Jewish people can't go in, or the Israelite people can't go into Palestine, we will leave Rakela in Israel, and we will pick up one of their family who will take us to their shop. Last time we went, their prices were a little high. I'll let you know. If the prices are reasonable, I'll tell you. You will have some time to see other prices in Jerusalem, but because we've been there, we'll help you. If it's too high, we'll just ask them to move us along. You may see some things that you want to buy there. That's totally up to you. And we're not going to the Church of the Nativity. I won't go into big details, but there's a Roman Catholic church that they believe is the actual site that the actual birth took place. We're not going to go there. We're going to go to a different site called the Field of the Shepherds. And what the Field of the Shepherds, there's a really nice chapel that's built there. But what we want to do is we actually want to go and we want to look over the general field. There's the field of Boaz, which is the field that the angels would have appeared to the shepherds to. Now, it's not like you can pick out and say, this is the exact spot, or this is the exact spot, but over this field we know is the spot. There's a lot of things in Israel that people are saying, this is the spot, and we don't know. But over the shepherd's fields is an incredibly emotional place, and I'm not going to give it away, but you will be shocked about the view you have from that spot on Bethlehem. And I don't want to give it away. I want you to hold on to that. But it's going to be absolutely beautiful when we go to Bethlehem. We visit the shepherd's fields, and then we'll finish by going back to the Prima Kings Hotel. We'll have another great meal. You will eat so much for breakfast and so much for supper that you won't feel like lunch most days. How many ladies have a purse? Okay. I happen to see, even though it says, don't take any fruit, at all of the buffets, I'm always seeing ladies taking bananas and oranges and dates. Feel free. Because everybody does it, and if you want a little snack, we took granola bars from home because most often, if we just wanted a little something, we didn't want a whole meal. We don't often stop. There's a couple of days we'll stop for lunch, and I'll tell you about that. But there's so much food, you will not be going hungry. That is actually 2 really, really, really busy days. We finish at Gordon's Calvary. So again, we're not going to go into, as a group, we're not going to go into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. But we're going to go to a more Protestant place, which is called Gordon's Calvary, which is sometimes called the Garden Tomb. In the big city of Jerusalem, there is a garden that has a tomb that sounds very familiar to what Jesus would have been in. And there's an American corporation that has organized to maintain this as a garden. It's a beautiful setting. If you look in the display cabinet at the back, you'll see a picture of what looks like Golgotha, the skull. And from Gordon's Calvary, you'll be able to look at Golgotha. And when we took communion together as a church, one of the rooms that we had, we literally looked outside our room, we saw Golgotha, and we took communion there. It was one of the most emotional experiences that we had as a group together. There was also an opportunity to go and sit and pray in the garden, and it was a great way to cap off what is going to be 2 very, very busy days. So as I say that, at the end of the 2 busy days, we have, day 5, the Holy Bagel. There we go, yeah. We will have just had 2 extremely busy days. And so can you just watch a quick video about the Yehuda Mundane Market, and then we'll come back. You can see I'm pretty happy there with my helva. I love helva. Shalex bagels. This is also called the souk. Yeah. So even if you're not planning on buying anything, just taking a walk through the souk is just a fascinating, fascinating day. But you're going to have a lot of time to do different things that you would like to do. The hotel that we're staying at, the Prima Kings, is very central into Jerusalem. And so everything that you need is going to be close. The Mamila, the market, the shopping, the museums. On my free day, when I didn't have Shelley with me the first time, I actually went back to the Garden of Gethsemane. And I spent some time by myself just reading and praying. I was able to go to the Bible Lands Museum. You can do any of those things that you want to do. If you felt we were a little bit too rushed because they are 2 busy days in Jerusalem, you can slow down and go back and revisit. If you want to go back to the Garden Tomb, you're going to have a whole day to go back and enjoy those things yourself. Before I go on, let me say this. People say, is it safe? It's safer in Israel than it is here in Canada. And I know you don't believe me, but I went all those places by myself with nobody with me on my day off. I started walking with some people. They were too slow. I left them at one of the shops and you're totally fine going now. I don't recommend that you go by yourself. I won't recommend that, but it's not safe. Yes, you're going to see people with AK-47s on their hips. Those are everybody in Israel serves in the military. It's very well protected. It's very safe. And the Canadian government would not allow us to go if it wasn't safe. And so I know there's people that are wondering, is it safe? It's actually safer in Israel than it is here. I was talking with Ari on the phone yesterday, and he said, and don't even get me started on what's going on in the United States of America. He says, Israel is very, very safe. And so if you have questions about that, come and see me. I can put some more to Ari. But rest assured, we didn't have any issues at all, any of the times that we've been there. And again, if there is something that's brewing, the Canadian government would not allow us to go over. Since I talked about shopping, can we watch one more quick I got these little 1-minute videos. The Mamila. This is literally the U.S. Embassy and the Mamila, 2 minutes from the hotel, walking. It's gorgeous. When you get into Jerusalem at night, and you can even walk down at night, they have beautiful multimedia productions that will go up on the old city walls as well. So there's just so much to see and do there. That's Jerusalem. Now we get to really slow down, and this is where we're going to see the Bible begin to come to life. And so I know I don't want to show too many videos, but I've got a number of short ones. I want you to watch this one quickly before we go into Masada. There is not a lot in the Bible about Masada, but it will be a highlight of our trip. King Herod's temple. I have never personally been to the northern palace, And I am specifically saying we are slowing down because I want us to be able to walk down and actually be on that outcrop. I don't know if you saw the top part. It comes down. There's an outcrop. I really want to get to the Northern Palace because the last 2 times we were going a little too fast to do that. So we're going to slow down. Some of you may be familiar that Masada was a last standout against the Roman legions. And I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but Masada is absolutely incredible. We're going to picture of the church at the water cistern here, but let me read this for you. Day 6. After breakfast, we'll drive to the lowest point on earth, the Dead Sea, that is over 1,300 feet below sea level. Our route will take us back down the Judean wilderness towards Jericho, the oldest town in the world. You're going to see this from a distance. Honestly, don't blink. You'll miss it. We'll point it out. We're not going to stop at Jericho. It's one of the things that we're leaving out to have more time at other places. We'll then turn south, drive along the shores of the Dead Sea. We'll visit Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered. Hopefully you understand some of that. We'll teach you about that. Continue to along the shores of the Dead Sea to the En-Gedi, which is a beautiful oasis in the desert, the hiding place of King David. The Psalms are going to come alive here, where King David hid from Saul, mentioned in the Bible. We're going to visit the nature reserve, view the waterfall, David Springs. Hopefully we'll see a number of wild animals, wild goats, ibex in that area. It's just incredible. Then we're going to drive to Masada. You're going to take a cable car. How many people want to walk up that? The snake path? Yeah, okay. We'll go slow, Lance, so that you can walk that up. Masada is incredible. I know Lance really wants to see that. But we will take the cable car up, and it's unbelievable. I'm just overwhelmed as I'm thinking about it. This fortress that King Herod has built. So it's got the palaces, the bathhouses, a swimming pool, the oldest synagogue in the world, and it's all in the middle of a desert. So after descending the mountain by cable car, we'll continue south to our hotel at the Dead Sea, where you're going to have the rest of the day to float in the saltiest body of water in the world. People say, I can't float. Come on, I am a brick. This body was not built to float. But even in the Dead Sea, don't float. You will be warned. Don't put your hands on your eyes. The salt content is so high, but the salt content is so high that you will actually float. If you take a book, you will be able to float and read a book. I promise you. It is wonderful. We are going to the Crown Plaza. We learned our lesson. We are paying a little bit extra on our tour to stay at a really nice hotel that countries will send people with eczema. You put this mud on, you smooth as a baby's bottom when you're done. It's unbelievable. I used to have a patch on the side of my head this big. You'll see a picture of me later. Rub it on. We're going to float. It's incredible. We have a beautiful spot that we're staying. The Crown Plaza Hotel is gorgeous. I stayed there on my first visit, and that's why we're going back here again. The Dead Sea is incredible, the floating, but all of that. Masada, the En-Gedi, it's just an absolute incredible. There I am. Absolute incredible time. Day 7. We're gonna leave the south. We're gonna leave the En-Gedi, the Qumran. We're gonna travel up to Galilee. Galilee is absolutely incredible. But on our way up to Galilee, we're gonna stop at a couple of places. We're gonna stop at a place called Bet Shean. Bet Shean is this incredible excavation. It's actually the largest ongoing archaeological dig in Israel. It's got a Roman theater. There's colonnaded streets. Some of the pictures you'll see that Shelley and I have of an earthquake that had happened, and they're laying on their sides. The mosaics there are absolutely incredible. The bathhouses that have been uncovered. There's so much there. And I know the Bible scholars among us already know that Bet Shean is the place that Saul and his sons were hung on the city wall. Don't worry, we won't see them. They're far removed. But another place that is mentioned in the Bible. And then we're going to stop at a place called Nazareth Village. Nazareth Village is run by a group of evangelical Americans, and they have turned the city of Nazareth, or the village of Nazareth, into a living museum. And so they hired some Israelis who come in, and they will be dressed in costumes. If you were here on Sunday, the picture of Joseph has been working there ever since I've been going to Israel. And so we will have actors that will be showing us the tools of the day, the trade, how they were doing things, making things, living. We are actually looking at having a lunch here. We're going to figure this out. We're hoping to have a vegetarian lunch, so we'll have the actors around us. We'll have a very simple meal. We'll be eating on the floor, much like they would have in that day. We're going to, if you look up the village of Nazareth or Nazareth Village, you'll be able to see what we're going to be partaking in that day. And I hope to make that very realistic for everyone. Day 8. Let's practice something. Everybody go, ooh, and go, ah. Okay, let's try that one more time. Ooh. And one more time. Ah. Okay, I think you've got that. You're going to really need that when we get to Galilee. Watch this video, number 6. Sherry. That's our picture. That's not a stock image. We took that. Nothing on our trip will be like what you will see here. This is the game changer. Sermon on the Mount we did this week, yeah. Capernaum. That's Peter's house underneath that. The synagogue that Jesus would have worshipped in. Okay, day 9. Do you have your brochure here? So after breakfast, we visit the newly excavated site of Magdala. Does that name sound familiar to anybody? Mary Magdalene, you got it. First time I was there in Israel, nothing about this. There's nothing about this. Next time we go, unbelievable. The excavations, everything that's going on, and apparently there's even more wonderful new excavations that have taken place there. You're going to see a first century synagogue where Jesus taught. We're going to visit the site of the city of Chorazin where there are remains of the first century synagogue where Jesus frequently ministered. We'll drive north to Banias. Banias is also known as Caesarea Philippi. This is the place where Peter proclaimed, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." There have been some incredible, I was explaining to some before we got in, during COVID, there was a small earthquake in that area that knocked over a couple, like Banias is actually a pagan temple, okay? And the earthquake knocked over a couple of stones, and what they found has turned out to be probably the oldest chapel, Christian chapel, in all of Israel. because of this earthquake that happened during COVID. They didn't know it was there before. They knew there was a basilica that's off to the side, but they didn't know about this chapel. And the important part is what they found is that the Christians were taking all of the pagan sites and turning everything upside down and building on top of it. And the archaeologists literally saying, the Christian faith is saying, we are greater than you in the rebuilding. And so all of this is all new. So we are going to be going. It's a little bit of a bus trip. Will be a 45-minute ride up. So part of our day will be traveling. But an important place where Peter made this declaration of faith. We're going to return back to Tiberias. We'll go along the east side of the Sea of Galilee, stopping at Cursi to see the place that the demons entered the swine, and then into the Sea of Galilee. And we're going to finish the day at Yardenit. If there's anybody that would, is there anybody that would like to be baptized while we're over in Israel? Like anybody? Yeah. We're going to go to Yardenit. You saw that. You pay a small fee. They give you the gown. They'll give you. I'll do the baptism if you'd like, and then they'll have a little brochure you can sign, and everybody will participate in watching that. And then while they're changing, you'll go shopping. There's some great shopping. Shelley bought a few things there. Several different places. Shelley, I missed reading about Nofginosor. Did I skip that? The boat ride. Yeah. Where did I miss that? Okay, I don't know that's. I'm sorry. So back on day 8, I realize that I've missed that, but there was not a dry eye in the place. I realize as I'm talking, as I'm going, I can't miss that. We have an opportunity to go and see. You probably saw it looked like an ancient boat. And after that, we'll leave the museum and we're going to go out and we're going to get on to a worship boat. Messianic Jews have this running where they'll take us out onto the Sea of Galilee on those boats. And on the way out, they'll play some praise and worship music and some hymns, and we'll go out, and then they'll shut all of that off. When you go to Jerusalem, everything is basically 500 years old. But when you go to the Sea of Galilee, you are going to be on that boat, and you're going to be looking at the place that Jesus was. You're going to be looking at the mountains. I'm seeing in my mind now the mountains that you saw in the video where Jesus would have had to walk from Nazareth to come to Galilee. You're going to look across and see where the Gennesaret man was healed or delivered by Jesus. You're going to look to this side, and you're going to see the Mount of Beatitudes. Like you're going to see Capernaum, all of this. The Galilee it's a life changer. The Bible will come alive because all the things you've been reading about, you're now going to see. You're going to go along the Jordan River, and you're not just going to see it. You're going to be picturing Jesus coming down to John and being baptized. It's incredible. I didn't want to miss telling you about that because it's probably for many people that will be the highlight of our tour. One more video here, number 7, Caesarea Maritima. So there's Caesarea Philippi and there's Caesarea Maritima. Anybody seen Ben-Hur? Ever? You'll recognize Ben-Hur was done here. We're not golfing. All right. So we're going to come back from the Galilee and kind of make our way down. So we'll do Magdala, we'll do Banias, we'll do Caesarea Philippi, Yardena, and then we're going to go to Megiddo, which is King Solomon's walled and fortified city. And you're going to stand at one place on this day, and you're going to go from Megiddo, you're going to look at Mount Tabor, the Mount of Transfiguration, and Mount Carmel. Who knows what's in between those three places? Megiddo. Does it sound like a name we know? Armageddon. Armageddon. Tel Armagiddo. So we're going to look over the Valley of Jehoshaphat. We're going to see all of that. This is day 10 is an absolutely incredible day. So we go Megiddo, we go Mount Carmel. When we come down off of Mount Carmel, anybody that goes, are we going to do this again? Okay, we're going to buy you lunch because there is a falafel place at the bottom of Maruka or Mount Carmel that has the most incredible falafel. So we're going to treat everybody that goes to a falafel dinner. It's on us. It is an incredible thing to do that. When we're at Mount Carmel, we will read the story. You will look out. You will see everything that's happening. You'll wonder, how did they build an altar here? You'll be able to answer that question as soon as you are in this area. You will look out over the Jezreel Valley. Those who love the Old Testament, you remember Jehu drove his chariot like a madman. There's still highways on that. You're going to see all of that. The Bible is going to come alive when we are in the Galilee. After we're done at Maruka and we've had our lunch, we're going to drive down to Caesarea, which you just saw. It's not about Ben-Hur. It's actually about King Herod. Herod the Great. Pontius Pilate was here. Cornelius was here. Paul embarked to Tarsus here. Philip preached. Paul and Felix. Like, there is so much of the Bible that happened at Caesarea Maritima. And if I told you were at the Mediterranean Sea, would that make sense if you didn't know Caesarea Maritima? You will be at the Mediterranean Sea. We'll finish the day. We'll drive down to Tel Aviv. And I've said there must be a heated pool at the Grand Hotel. And so we're going to finish the day. If you don't feel like going out into the Mediterranean Sea, there's going to be a pool there. We're going to have a great time, dinner and overnight at the Grand Beach Hotel. Can you just flip over your brochure? Will you join us? Anybody a little bit excited? Okay. So what will this cost? So if you look at the back, it's $4,499, but we have to get 21 people to go. So you're going to need to invite your friends to go. We would have to make a decision if we have less than 21, but let's not even go there. One of the things I'm excited about is, I think Dan just slipped out. We have invited the Aboriginal Bible Academy to join us, and they have been putting this out to the people that support the Aboriginal Bible Academy. I was going to introduce Dan right now, and I just saw he's just departed, but his son Sid's back there. So the better looking version of Dad. How's that? Pastor Sid. You can tell him I said that. So we want to get to the 21 people minimum, but there is a 40-person maximum. We cannot get 41 people. So people say, when do I need to register? The sooner, the better. Because if we get to 39 seats and you and a spouse want to go, we can't do 41. We can only do 40 seats maximum. Ari made that very clear to me. Once you hit 40, I cannot get you an extra one. So if you would like to go, then getting your down payment in as soon as possible, some will probably even do that tonight, is great. If you notice on the back here, if you pay by e-transfer or check, not by credit card, say it with me, not by, okay, you can save $130. So there you go. That's a good thing. As well, you need to make some decisions on insurance. And so there's information about the insurance on the application form. I was saying to some people on the way in, my job, my my benefits actually cover my travel insurance. So instead of just saying I'm buying travel insurance, make a phone call, find out, because you might already be covered and save yourself some expense. But there's some information in here about travel insurance, and you should have travel insurance. It's very important that you do that. As well, on the back, I should highlight that there is a single supplement, $1,240. Hotel prices after COVID have gone up. And so if you are planning on staying by yourself in your own room, so it's usually 2 people per room, so husband or wife, or if you're going and you and a friend want to share a room, that's good. But if you're going to be by yourself in a room, there is a supplement charge of $1,240 on top of the $4,499 and on top of that. So if you want to stay in your own room, there is a surcharge. Some people prefer to do that. We had a lady on our last tour. That's what she wanted to do. And so she paid the extra. That's fine. The only other costs, there'll be a couple of times where if you want to pick up something for lunch, that would be on your own, because we won't be at the hotel. Food at the hotel is there. If you didn't grab an apple or something to put in your purse or your wife's purse, and she said, where did this come from? No chicken. Don't put any chicken in your wife's purse. Okay, men? Dave, I'm looking at you. Okay. So the little bit of food, your spending money's on your own, and then tips. So I will collect at the airport $90 US from every single person. I will be responsible for paying the tips. Please don't cause confusion and be saying, oh, I just love what you're doing, and give tip money. It causes way too much confusion. If you really want to add to the tip for a certain place, come and see me. Okay, and this, again, I'm speaking from experience. Well, I'm saying that when Raquela says to you, don't go to those street vendors, I'll take you to a different place, she means it. She almost had me beat up. Well, not her. Somebody that went on our tour almost had me beat up because they were going to the tour and I was trying to get them back. So do what you're told. She knows the places where we need to stay together. She'll keep us safe. Okay? It'd be like going into the worst part of town and raising a ruckus. So when we're told to do something, we follow the rules. If you want to slip something, please don't leave tracks. Okay? Don't leave tracks on your pillows. I say that with as much love as I can. If you want to leave a tip for the people, do that. We'll love them and share the gospel in other ways, but don't leave a track. They're tired of Christians leaving tracks. Okay, work with me on that. But if you want to leave an extra tip money in your hotel, you can do that. But I would prefer that all the tips came and worked through me. It's clean, it's easy, and it's my responsibility. The maitre d' is expecting it to come from me, and if you give it to the wrong person, you could cause a fight among the staff at the hotel. Okay, so just these are rules that we want you to follow, and so all the money for tips will be collected. That's it. There's no extra things that you're going to have to worry about. Before we go to the questions, let me do one last video, and then we'll do some questions.
Jerusalem means a whole bunch of history and a connection from a religious standpoint.
There's so much more I want to say and tell you, but Mark Brown at the back beside Sherry has a question. Pastor Sid, if you could go back there first. We want to use the microphone for the questions because there are some people that are watching us on live stream. So if you don't mind using the microphone, that would help them to be able to hear as well. Mark.
I have two questions. The first one is, what currency should we bring? Would it be U.S. dollars or something else?
So you can bring new Israeli shekels that you can pick out. Actually, I was going to say something about that. So on my phone, I have a currency converter. So when I'm shopping, I have the currency converter. So when they say, it's 1,000 shekels, what's that? And I type it in and I have it automatically. So you can take some new Israeli shekels with you, and any of the banks or changers can do that. U.S. dollars are preferred to Canadian. But your credit cards will also work. If you're more comfortable carrying your credit card instead of cash, most of the places that we go are set up to take credit card now. But it doesn't hurt, especially if you want to do some dickering with prices, to have cash with you. I put some new Israeli shekels out in the, I got a couple in my pocket as well. But you can get those at the bank, paper and coin. But if you have some U.S. dollars, that's preferred. But wear Canadian pin. Canadian pins, Canadian flags will serve you well when they realize you're not American. They like the American money, but they like that you're Canadian. So have those things with you. Good question.
My second question was, in the video, especially the early ones of Jerusalem, people appeared to be wearing coats, what looked like almost like a winter coat. What kind of temperatures could be expected at that time of the year?
So when we go in March, it's actually warmer than our March. And so it'd be like a spring day. We would do some layering. You'll see, even if you look at the pictures in the back, we went in February. And I had on a very thin jacket. It was one of those Columbia Omni Shields. And there was days where I had that on, but always undone. We'll be going in March and later March, so it'll be a little bit warmer. A light jacket. Be prepared to layer. On the days that we're walking in Jerusalem, again, you want something that when we're doing a lot of walking, you want to be able to take it off, and then you can put it back on again when you're stopped. Yeah, don't wear sandals. Yeah, Shelley just held up her flip-flops. Don't wear sandals. If you look at the pictures at the back, it'll give you an idea of what people were wearing in February. We all wore good running shoes. Okay, you want to look fashionable, that's okay, but you're going to have sore feet. Wear really nice running shoes. Don't buy brand new shoes and take them over there. If you buy brand new shoes, get in here and start doing laps. In fact, it wouldn't hurt to do some stairs here because there's some places where we're going to do some walking. You're going to be walking on some cobblestones. If you were to do, I'd say 2 or 3 trips around the sanctuary, fairly brisk pace, and you're able to handle that, you're going to handle everything that you will do in Jerusalem, because we won't be walking fast. But there are some places where we'll be going up and down stairs, and so if you were to do the stairs, like do 3 loops around here, I can handle anything that we're going to do in Jerusalem when we're going down some of the steeper places or the cobblestones. But wear good footwear, layer. What I'm wearing today, these shoes I wouldn't wear. They're comfy, but they're not built for walking. They're really flexible. Merrells that you might wear hiking. I like a nice hiking or running shoe. Ladies, much the same. A lot of ladies wore Skechers. I don't know. Good questions. We can go on to the gov.il site. They'll show you the average temperatures of the days. But it's going to be a little bit warmer here or there than it is here. So it's a spring day layer. I wear a hat. In fact, the whole last tour, I wore my red Tilly hat so that people would see me in a crowd. I don't know if I'm going to do the same again, but just with the sun, I wanted to make sure I didn't get burnt. So anybody who's, good questions. Can you come to the mic? He's coming with the microphone here that'll help us. I couldn't hear, but anybody online that'll help us as well.
Okay, one of my questions is it the Rob at Calvary for your email?
Rob at
E-transfer?
Calvary.
For your e-transfer?
So for the e-transfer, no, that would actually have to go to, if you go to the white sheet, I believe the address is Sarah. Yeah, e-transfer to be sent, number 2. So if you have this page here, the application on the back side, it says that the e-transfer to be sent to Sarah at ihtours.com. And we'll
And
need
the
another
amount?
email with the security password for the payment.
Okay,
All
thank
that
you.
Okay. Question behind you, Sid, Pastor Sid. Hello.
Hi, we have 2 questions. Number 1 is, I see your insurance here goes up to 84 years. What if someone, is there another level for anyone that's over 84 years old?
I would have to ask about that.
Okay,
Yeah, I would have to ask Ari
okay,
if it's over 84.
right. Our second question is, you're talking about sometimes there might be some difficulty walking. Is there ever a possibility of maybe renting a wheelchair so that if someone is having a difficult day?
No.
No, so they would
No.
have, if it was going to be a lot of climbing, someone would have to sit that out then.
Yeah, there are spots, and we had some people who said, I'm tired. I'm going to sit, and we just explained that to Raquela. She will put them at a safe place, say, sit and wait here for us. We will do this, and we'll be back to get you.
Okay, so,
No one can stay on the bus. That is an Israeli tourism law. So you're not able to stay on the bus and wait there. You would have to wait at a spot that we would have designated if you got to the place where you couldn't go any farther for a bit.
okay, so you of course will know ahead of time if there's a difficult walking section coming up to warn us to, stop
Yes.
and
For example, at the City of David, if you look at the picture where the cobblestones are, Raquela would say to us, at this point, if you're not able to walk, then you wait here. We will walk down and then we will come back to you. What she will tell people at those places that would be the most difficult. The same like the Hezekiah's tunnel. When we're in the old city Jerusalem, we're going to go see a couple of sections of the wall. That's one spot where she had 2 or 3 people wait. I think was Mickey 82? I think she toughed it out through everything. I think it was somebody younger that had to wait. So I have not had anybody over 82 years old go on a tour. So I'd have to ask about the insurance question. But there are a couple spots, but we would tell you ahead of time that this would be a spot to wait.
Thank you, those are my questions, thanks.
Thank you. Good questions. Mark?
Great, I thought of a couple more. In the hotel rooms, will there be safes for personal documents like our passports?
Yes, there was a safe, as far as I remember, in every place that we went to. There was a safe in each of the rooms.
Also, what personal identification might we need to carry while we're out for the day?
We carried our passports with us. Raquela will tell us when to bring it and when to leave it. And she'll make that very clear that you would need this on a certain day. I believe we took our passport every day with us, though.
We personally carried ours.
Yeah. Shelley's saying that we personally carried our passports every day with us. We actually got a little packet to keep them safe in. Yeah, but she will tell you when you need it and if you don't need it. And certain days where she knows the weather's going to get, let's say it's going to be a little cooler, she'll tell us, please remember in the morning, bring your coat tomorrow. Yes?
Well, from what I understand, is most of the place not accessible?
Yes,
From
it
my-
would. Most places are not accessible. Ancient Jerusalem, not wheelchair accessible for most of the places that we would be going.
So kind of pointless for me to go.
If you needed your scooter, I will double check with Ari, but I think most of the places that are over there would not be accessible.
That's what I figured. Okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
Well, it is, but there's nothing that I can do about that. It's just the reality of 2,000-year-old places that we'll be visiting. Good questions. Any others? Down here, Pastor Sid. Everybody say hi, Connie.
Hi, Connie.
I don't know why that's ringing. Let me shut myself off while she's talking.
I am wondering about, do I have to worry about, or anyone has to worry about snakes and scorpions or anything like that? I'm just wondering because
Laugh. Don't laugh.
There's
no.
a lot of rocks. That's
Yeah,
why I
no,
was
no, you won't. You won't. I don't like spiders and snakes. That ain't what it takes to love me. There
Well,
you
my
go.
sister goes
Yeah.
on holidays, and in their motel rooms, it's nothing to see things moving around, like stuff.
And in fact, when we go to, I didn't mention this, but when we go to Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee, we're going to be staying at the hotel that I stayed at the first time, but it was just through COVID completely renovated. And it's actually the site of where the Roman hot baths are. So it's like, ooh. So husbands, save up some money, send her to the spa. But there's the pool will be actually the Roman hot springs. Pretty incredible, Sea of Tiberias. But good question. No. And we will be in the desert area, but again, you'll be very safe. The animals are wild at En-Gedi, but fairly tame. And again, they'll keep everything away. There'll be guides with us, so we'll be good. The En-Gedi is incredible. The Psalms come alive. Yes?
When we were there in 2007, the one thing I remember is going into the Dead Sea and it being so jagged from salt, being.
Did you go at the
just
northern
still.
tip at the public area, or did you go down to the south to Ein Bakat? Do you know?
I think we were in the public area because we didn't stay there overnight. So
We're
I
not
always
going there.
Okay, so I always in my mind said that if I ever came back here again, I would have a pair of water shoes.
I took mine.
Okay,
I
so
took a thin pair of water shoes with me, and I'm really glad I did because we actually went to the public swimming area, which we are not going to. It is a cesspool. We're not going there. I refuse to go there. We're paying extra money to go to the Crown Plaza. They have rubber mats. It's beautiful. They have wonderful
so
showers.
that would not be an item I would need to pack then.
I would throw it in because there is so much salt content
Yeah.
that you might find it uncomfortable, and it would be nice to have a pair. And they're so thin.
Yeah.
I'm probably taking my little water shoes with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
a
the
good
only
question.
time in my life I ever saw my husband float also.
And wear a hat, right? Good question. Lance.
Can you give us a ballpark figure of how much spending money we should be taking?
I don't know your wife that well.
He's a shopper, I'm not.
Some people will spend very little, and some people, I like the jewelry. I'm a sucker for the jewelry over there. You'll see Shelley wear some of it to church, the widow's mite, but I didn't find it really expensive. Hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars. When I went with a group of pastors, they went a little crazy in the olive wood, where they spent thousands because they were buying full-size nativities to bring back to their churches. So it depends on if you have something in particular you're going and looking for. I love the Roman glass, where they take the archaeological, the glass they find from the Roman period, and they turn it into jewelry, which I tend to buy for my wife. And so I'll spend a little bit more on that, because to have it shipped over here to Canada is astronomical, but it seems so cheap to me when I'm there. A lot of sterling silver, a lot of copperware. They pound it out. The olive wood, some beautiful things. If you want to buy a shofar, like the worship people, $150, I think is what was the going price. And the one that I have is actually wrapped in silver. I forget. I think I paid a little bit more for the little one last time, because it was 10 years later. But I think I might have paid $200 for the little one. So it depends on what you're looking at, but some of these places, even like some of the jewelry, you could go to the jewelry stores at the City of David and see what some of the prices are now. So if you see something that you'd like to pick up there, you know you're going to save all the freight. And there is taxes. You don't pay certain things. It's actually cheaper when you get there, and if you have some cash, you can work some deals. But if you've got money, take some to spend, because this is a bucket list trip. For some people, this will be their only trip to Israel, and you want to have a keepsake, or you want to buy something special. So if you've got some money, take it with you, or plan to take a credit card and buy that special item at one of the shops that are at one of the museums, the Olivewood, Nof Guinnessor, what's the other place I'm thinking? Oh, Yardenit. The Baptismal, they have a really nice shop. And so you're going to see some of the nicer items in some of those places, and they would take your credit card if you're feeling more safer to do that. Oh, yeah, honey and dates. It's not just jewelry. Oh, the honey. Oh, the helva, which the helva is actually sesame seeds that are crushed together. And it's just a wonderful dessert. It's hard to get here. Yes, you can bring all that back. Yeah, you can bring all that back.
Couple of questions. You had mentioned
Yes.
the museums. That free day in Jerusalem, I had only two things, Yad Vashem and the Shrine of the Book. Now, is there some way to organize? I don't want to be running around on buses or walking all over the place just to get to museums and that. Is there a guide that would just take a couple of us out and hit a couple of the museums or something on that day?
I would suggest you just hop in the taxi and
Just
go.
hop
And
in
if
the
there's
taxi.
somebody else that wants to go with you, taxi drivers will be they're
really
governed.
helpful.
They'll
Okay.
be watched over. Raquel, you can ask Raquel, tell her what you want to do on the Wednesday. She might even make a suggestion. I wouldn't hire a tour guide to take you for that. I would
yeah, I
say
didn't know how you
just
do
go
that.
by your. I did that myself because I wanted to see the museums.
Yeah.
And I got to take them at my pace, and I liked that. The Book of the Shrine is actually where the Dead Sea Scrolls are housed. Google it, watch it, it's good. We're not going there this time. I've been there several times, but it's, yeah.
And the
You'll love
other
it.
thing was, when you mentioned all the possible things to purchase, friend and I were looking at some of the souks online, and the fabrics looked incredible. And I'm thinking, so are there places where we're likely to see those sorts of things?
Again, the Yehudim, the souk, the market,
Right, yeah,
great
okay.
spot. When we're walking through the Armenian Quarter has some incredible fabrics. We'll see some of those shops. And again, when we're there, you just say to the tour guide, I'm looking for this in particular. Can you help me to know when we're near that spot so that I can take a minute and get it? Good question.
Okay, just wondering, do you barter for items in the marketplace?
Yeah, you can try to barter, but I tell you, you're in for it. It can be fun. If you like to barter, it could be in. It's kind of a quick story. I actually didn't realize it till after. I was actually in the same shop bartering with the same guy that I'd bartered with for my first jewelry for her was the second spot. It was kind of fun to do that. Good.
How many bags can each person take, and what is the weight limit?
Looking because I remember reading that. I may have to go back onto the Air Canada to double check that. One bag at 50 pounds plus your carry-on. Yeah, but Air Canada, for those regulations, I don't think it's changed. Yeah, one bag, 50 pounds plus your carry-on. And your carry-on is not included in your purse, but depending on how full the airplane is, you may have to keep it on your lap. Okay? Good questions.
Sorry, another question. So the few times that we'll be swimming in Israel, are there like modest, like can we wear a bathing suit, or should we be investing in like a swim dress costume?
The bathing suits are fine.
They're
I don't know
fine
if you
in
saw
Israel.
some of the videos, but yeah, normal bathing suits are fine.
Okay.
It's your own. It would be your own comfort
Okay.
level, and
Yeah.
modesty is a good policy. So
Okay, fantastic.
I found that a lot of people, a lot of the ladies preferred to wear a shirt at the Dead Sea. It was just easier for them. Just if that helps you, that was the norm. But it's what you're comfortable with. It's hard to put the mud on with shirt on, but it depends. You can take it off for a minute if you want, float, put it back on. It's up to you what you would like to do. But there are no laws that would force you to do something. Craig, I don't want to see you in a bikini, okay? In the Dead Sea, nothing can live. In the Tiberias. So I am really hoping that Raquela will be able to get the boat to do the casting in the net for you. They couldn't last time. They didn't have a net on board. But I'm really hoping I'm gonna push ahead of time to see if we can arrange for that, because that was incredible to watch them fishing with a net, the way that Peter, James, John, etc. The Mediterranean will be totally safe. You'll be good there.
Is there an appropriate bag that you should carry for your day-to-day things? Just if you're in the market and things like that, that is a little more accepting?
Shelley's saying she carried an over-shoulder bag with her, but had her things in it, and then if we bought something, we could put it in. Shops will have a bag, or just like those roll-up bags that you can make tiny and then store things in. That can be good for while you're shopping too. Again, if you've got something with a Canada flag on it, I know I'm not trying to be anti-American, but they like Canadians. They like to know you're not American, so that can serve you well.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt. What's this one? Pertaining, if you have plenty of money, then you can buy whatever you want from Israel. Is there any limits? How much commodities or goods that you're bringing back to Canada? Will you not be halted at the airport because you have to declare how much you have? Especially at the customs.
I apologize. I forget what the amount is. I remember reading it recently, and it's on that gov.il site. I can put the question to Sarah in Ari's absence to find out for sure and let you know. But I'm positive it's on the gov.il site. What you can, because we're an 11-day tour, so the more days, the more money. Similar to the U.S. You can buy.
Plus, there will be people who will not be spending a lot of money and will hold your stuff.
Have a friend who has no money go with you. Yeah. Stick it in the pastor's bag so he get nailed at customs. There you go. Okay. Any other questions? This really is a bucket list trip for many people. I am so blessed that I have been able to go twice. This will be my third time. I think that Shelley and I have kind of learned our lesson on the last tour about a couple of places that we feel it's really important to slow down. And so we've kind of tried to structure the tour that way to give you the best experience of God's Word and having the Bible come alive, and try not to say too much tonight. You will never read I promise you this. I will make a promise. You will never read your Bible the same when you come back from Israel. Anybody that's been to Israel probably can talk about that. When we go to certain places, I will be asking some of you to read some of the scripture. Our tour guide is a university-trained person. There's incredible knowledge that she has. I'll be doing some speaking. There's going to be some spots. Did you see the Roman theater at Caesarea Maritima? I'm going to pick on somebody that goes with us and ask you to go down and sing to us. It's somebody's going to be musical, and there's opportunities. When we go to Bethlehem, and we go to the when we go to the Shepherd's Fields, where the angels, we're going to sing that Christmas carol in the chapel, and there's some things that are going to happen. Bethsaida, the Pool of Bethsaida, the chapel that's there. Again, some of those places that we're going to see, the communion service at Gordon's Calvary. There's just so many. The surprise that you have at Caiaphas's house. I didn't even talk about walking into the tomb at the garden. There's just some places that you're going to be reading these things and you're going to go, wow. I remember one of my board members at the last church, we were at the city of David, and we were standing, and he's looking, and Steve had this look on his face. I don't know if he's watching tonight because I invited him to come. And I said, Steve, what's going on? He says, it makes sense now. He says, I've read the Bible so many times, but the whole story of David and Bathsheba. And he says, now it makes sense to me. And so you're going to have those moments where things are going to come alive for you, things you've read that are all of a sudden going to make a whole lot of sense. I promise you that. Any other questions for tonight? Come down here, Marnie, and then Mark. Let's do Mark because the mic's Mark, then Marnie.
I'm monopolizing the mic tonight. What was my questions now? So we're headed off to Israel. What kind of contact information do we need to leave for family and friends in Canada in case we need to be contacted for an emergency?
I'm taking my cell phone with me. There will probably be others that might choose to do the same thing. And so my cell phone would be a contact. I would leave the information with Ari Bauer, IH Tours. You could call them, and they would know exactly where we are on our itinerary, and they would most likely have Raquela's cell phone as well. Shelley has a comment.
We took our cell phones. There was Wi-Fi on the bus even.
Yes, there's Wi-Fi on the bus, which you didn't mention is listed, and so we had our cell phones with us, and we were posting Facebook pictures back to the church. And to friends and family.
That was my next question. Regarding cell phones, can you purchase cards so you can use cell service in Israel?
So I'm with Virgin, and so all I needed to do was to purchase their international package for the month. And so it depends on your cell service. It might be just that simple to just have them put you onto an international package for the month. And so I would check with your provider that you will have when you go and see if they have a package that they would sign up. But that's all I did. It's just so economical. I can't remember what it was now, but I will do the same this time. And then down to Marnie. I'll take one more question after Marnie if you have it, and then I think we're good for tonight. Well, wait for the...
I'm on my way.
I was just wondering how long the flights are there and back.
I believe it's 9 and 11. Again, you can Google that just to make sure, but I believe it's 9 and 11. It's faster to go there. It's longer to get back. So you're with the jet stream going and you're against it coming back. That's why the time difference. One more question? Ron. Good evening.
What if Megan's going by herself? So what if there's only one person?
So we have a couple of things that we can do there. One is that we can talk her mother into going or her father into going. No, no. So there might be another single lady from our church, and if they're both comfortable, they could talk to each other and say, they could talk to each other. Let's say Tiffany was going and Megan was going. They said, do you want to share with me? or someone else that would be, and then she would avoid that $1,200 surcharge of staying on her own. So that is one of the options that we have, is to get people to go or talk a friend into coming and say, you know, I was going to pay an extra $1,200. Why don't you come and we'll share a room. We'll have a great time together. Okay, so there is, you can share, like even if it's not husband and wife, if you've got a friend, if it wasn't clear, then you can say we're gonna, and then when you register, is it on the application this time? I believe it was, that you would say that you were gonna room with somebody. No, okay, so right here, so this is on the front part, I wish to room with, and so I'm gonna room with Shelley. So I'll put her name down there. Sorry, Craig. It's you and me, Dave. Apparently I snore. I deny it. I have never heard myself snore, but apparently I think it's the cat, but I'm getting blamed. So if you would just mark the person that you want to room with, and then Sarah's really good, by the way. She'll get everything put together at the office, and then I actually get a list of everybody so that I'll have that. And so if I see it and go, oh, that something's not right there, or I see that we have a single, I will actually try to encourage somebody else to go that might stay so that we don't have that single supplement. Why pay $1,200 when if we can get somebody else to go? So we'll figure that out. Okay? Good. Thank you for coming tonight. If there is anybody that would like to fill out their application, or if you have any other questions that you're just too nervous to ask, I'll shut my mic off and I'll be down here. Did we have any questions that come in on the website? Okay, so we're good there. Again, I can't get 41 seats. So I can't promise you, when people are asking me this, when do I have to put it in? Can I wait? You can wait. But if it gets to 41 seats, I can't do anything about it. Ari's made that very, very clear to me. So if you register now, you have a better chance of getting in. We do have to get a 21 minimum. That's really important. I don't want to see any surcharges. I'm going to be working really hard. I'm going to be talking with Dan at ABA to try and get some people from there to make sure that our numbers are up. A tour of the 21 to 40 is a really good sized tour. We're not on the giant bus that's going to hold us up. We're going to get into different places. We'll get better parking spots. So I think this could be a good sized group, but we have to get to the 21 people. Okay?
You want the deposit. What about the medical?
I don't think it's with the deposit. Full payment due 60 days prior to departure. I'll double check with Ari, but I think it's when on the departure. That it's getting that down payment, and you can choose to pay. There's some people that want to pay every month. That's whatever works for you, but get your down payment in so that your spot is held. And I will ask him about if the medical is paid separately, but I believe it's paid at the same time as your total is due. But I can get back and find out if that's any different. And you're at Napanee? Okay.